Hello everybody, my name is Christopher Mwendawa, and in this video we are going to be sharing the 10-step approach of writing a poem. So the first step we would like to discuss is that you have to be in a mood to write a poem. Yes, it is said people write their poems when they are found in different situations of life, emotional situations, sad situations, and by the action of things happening around them, they are forced to write a poem, or they are driven to write a poem. But sometimes you can just turn your mind to write a poem and it's going to work out. Number two, write in a physical book. There's one good thing about having a few of the hard copy. Let me put about this scenario. Craftsmen use their creativity work. Their work is mostly based with working with hands. They feel what they are creating, and so in this situation, you the poet, you are the craftsman, and the tool you want to use also are the feel of hard copy. Writing, you're feeling it. This is one thing that will help you, give you a boost and a motivation to just actually sit down and write poetry. So find that one book that you can just use specifically for poems, inspiration, motivation, and whenever you sit down to write, you just have that natural drive to write because it's right in front of you. Number three is that you have to title your poem. So title your poem. This gives you a deeper sense of thought over the poem. Some poems you really can't tell from just the title what it's going to talk about, but to the poet more especially, it gives them a deeper insight of what they are going to share in that poem. The next point is the fourth point, and that you should read aloud your poem to someone. So by reading it aloud, this helps you to have a rhythm to a poem. Different poems carry different rhythms depending with the audience that you are presenting that poem to. You would agree with me that a poem written in form of a protest, one that is presented in public, will have quite a different rhythm with one that is perhaps presented in church. So it's the rhythm that is also determining how the poem is going to flow, and it's going to attract a certain audience. So I think we should be doing our fifth point now. Yes, so the fifth point is that you should have a goal in writing your poem. So before you really think of beginning to write, have a goal. What do you want to talk about in this poem? Is it a message of hope? Is it a message of anything? A message of love? Is it a protest? You want to speak maybe about human rights? What's the goal of this poem? It's you having a goal that will eventually help you to fall in line with this certain pattern, with this unity in your message, because at the end of the day, you want your message to have this unity in it. You don't want to confuse people. At the end of the day, you speak of different topics in one poem. Yes, and that's one thing you would want to consider. Number 6 is that you should avoid cliches in your poem. So cliches, these are simply phrases that are overused, such that with time they have become so familiar to people. Phrases like love is blind, well, that's a phrase that is known by most people, and just by the use of that phrase, it wouldn't really spice up your poem so much, in that people also want to appreciate the creative aspect of you coming up with your own thought pattern, with your own creativity, because just as a craftsman, they want to appreciate how unique his work is, and they are doing whatever they can to be creative enough to create things. It could be chairs, it could be drawings, it could be whatsoever it is, but they are putting out the best. They don't just want to settle for the common things that are out there, but they are trying out whatsoever they can to just make their work look good. So number 7, we are saying you have to read your poem to someone. So in the previous point, we said read it aloud to someone. This time around, you just want to read it to someone, so that you are given a feedback, perhaps on how you're coming out, and perhaps someone to just comment on your work to say, well, maybe here you could have said something like this, you could have done, or someone just to give you that feedback, whether they have understood your poem. Because at the end of the day, we want to really know how our poem is heard in the listeners, and that's one thing that we want. So we should be on the 8th point. All right, so number 8, we're saying use figurative language. Use figurative language. So if there is one thing that will differentiate your work from just ordinary work, from just mere writings, it's the use of figurative language. So figurative language is, a topic on its own. There's much we can look at in figurative language. This is why we might want to look at things like metaphors, hyperboles, idioms, euphony, and all those many nice things that get to to spice up your work, that make you to sound like a poet. So number 9, what we are saying is that constantly add to your writings. Constantly add to your writings new ideas. Yes, as you are writing, you understand to say some things will just naturally flow later on when you're done writing your poem. So once those ideas come through, add them to your writing to make it sound actually even much better. Even as a craftsman does his work, he's constantly trying to make his work look good. He's putting together all the materials that he has, and it's a step-by-step thing. It's a creative, an authentic creative kind of a picture he's putting about, and he is constantly working hard towards making it look better and making it a great piece of work. The last point, which is the 10th point, is that use images. Use images. What do I mean? So by using images, I mean to say when you are reciting certain things, let the listeners have that sense of imagination by figures of things you're using, the figures of speech, the words that you're using to describe something. Talk of the skies. If you mention the skies, if I say something like his smile was as bright as the sky, we all know how bright the smile is, and that will give a sense of imagination. It will give a picture of the sky in the minds of the listeners. And this is one thing you want to constantly use, as a poet and as a speaker in general. You want to also engage the imaginations of the listeners, and that's one thing that will really help you to write better poems, and this is going to help you and me. So these are the 10 tips that I had for you. I hope you enjoyed. Please do like and follow. My name is Christopher Mwindawa. I'm a poet. I do write poems. I do make motivational videos, and I've found that to be my inspiration as well. So I am working towards becoming that great poet as well, just as you are as well, and you can get there. We can do this together. Thank you so much, and stay blessed.